One of the things that I want to report out is for me, as much as we talk about taking this on, it's inspiring. We know that with numbers in Sonoma County, and by the time we hit 2050, Latinos are going to be the ethnic majority here in our county. And we have an opportunity to step into the future by using this tragedy kind of tragic times as an example to leap step instead of incremental. So, the first thing is that there's a part of this that is Latino community outreach, Latinx community outreach, but there's another side of it which is just directly Spanish speaking, and we got to be on our game on this. All of us as Board of Supervisors have been in press conferences over the years where because we haven't set it up right, there'll be information presented in English, and then there'll be nothing in Spanish, and then we developed a good system where there was press conferences in English and then in Spanish, but there wasn't the same level of content and importance, and a lot of media left after the English versions. So we're playing with quite a few different ideas about how we embed Spanish into different things, and Melissa is the primary point of contact to do that. I think the other thing about this work that's very important is that we've got to realize one comment came up in the beginning on one of our first calls, which was we have to make sure that we don't just continue to, every time we have a crisis, almost ad hoc or create this as a core element. We have to institutionalize it. And the board has, for the last year or so, given direction to the county administrator and our department heads that we really want an equity lens, a diversity, inclusion, and equity embedded into our system. So on that note, we have, the great thing is we have a contract right now with, as was mentioned, with Alma Bowen, a trusted community leader, bilingual, former 911 dispatcher, that's a legitimate source on emergency management and personal care and within this shelter in place. And then we have some other things. We're looking at continuing to make sure that we grab the opportunity to institutionalize this work. And then the third thing is that we still have a need to make sure that we don't just lean on bilingual county employees to translate, that we have professional translation services where we don't have misinformation, we don't have typos, we don't have other things like that, because we have to be tight. And as we know too, is that you can't just at the end translate something and think that it connects. You have to connect in different ways. As some of our community leaders have told us very upfront, is you can't just have a PSA that says go to socoemergency.org, because the PSA actually has to say on the radio where you go to get a food distribution. What do you do to go do this? Because we're not sitting in a world where maybe every farm worker, like our leaders like Zeke Guzman and others with Latinos Unidos have talked about, where farm workers jump on a cell phone and are going to socoemergency.com to read health orders. I say that in a very real way, what they've told us, right? And so we're going to have to adapt rapidly. But I just want the board to know that I'm honored to have the team around us. But the big key is that Spanish work for up until now, in my estimation with the county, has been an ancillary duty and an ancillary function. It's like, hey, let's do this to make sure it works and translate it or do whatever. But the reality is we need dedicated people and dedicated services and contracts to be able to do this in the right way. So we're on the right path, but make sure there'll be more recommendations coming and more requests for partners and contractors and other things to make sure that this hits right. Thank you very much.
Hey everyone, good morning, Board of Supervisors, County Council, County Administrator. We, as Carly said, she's implemented a very robust campaign. And so to start with, we have to recognize, like Carly did, that social media, press releases, and the website content continue to be a staple. And since day one, they have been, we have provided content in Spanish and English. Additionally, after each of the board members took a sector, we began conducting weekly calls with Supervisor Gore and Latinx stakeholders. We have a list of over 60 stakeholders from different CBOs and different sectors who are working with us and sharing concerns, questions, resources even. And for that reason, we have created a system for tracking and answering questions. And Jenny Chamberlain really from District 4 has been instrumental in creating really a Word doc, so where we're documenting and keeping track of the questions that are coming to us and the answers that we're providing. And we also have been sending daily email updates to our stakeholder group, and that could be, sending the relevant information, relevant Facebook posts, relevant videos that we put out during the day, maybe the health orders, the park closures, all of that relevant information we're sending to them on a daily basis so that they keep abreast of what new developments are happening at the county level. And all of this information, of course, is bilingual. We're also sharing some resources for undocumented workers and other kind of resources that they've been also sharing with us, and we can share with the group for business owners, that kind of resources as well. We have also implemented a PSA campaign on local Spanish-speaking radio stations. We've paid for some of that. Some stations have offered to play more PSA. We were informing that by the meetings that we were having. So, for example, we received feedback that farm workers really needed lots of assistance in terms of the eviction defense ordinance. So we worked with KBBF to send out a PSA that specifically addressed this fear and how everyone, would be protected and where to call if they were having issues making rent this month, and so on. So those meetings are really helping us inform decisions and some actions so that we can fulfill those needs that we're receiving from our group of stakeholders. We also deployed a PSA campaign in Latinx grocery stores in the Petaluma, Hillsburg, Santa Rosa area. These grocery stores have either screens or radio systems in which they're playing our PSAs in Spanish. We've also created a video, so they either play on the screens or on the radio. And we realized that Sonoma Valley area didn't have this capability. We called some stores in that area that we got together with some stakeholders who provided some, a list of really these Latinx grocery stores that are really where our people are going, Spanish-speaking communities going. And we had Alma Bowen, who's been engaged as a contractor for the county to help, with this emergency. She's bilingual. And she really has a good rapport with the community. So she took on the task of calling all of them and not only asking if they had the capability to do this kind of outreach, but really just educating them and explaining, what COVID-19 is, what they should be doing. And then we produced some flyers, as you've seen on the screen, for them to share. We shared with stakeholders, and then next step would be printing and sharing with them. And Marco Suarez and Karina from District 1 really will be helping us with that distribution. And so we've also now have socoemergencia.org running. We have a site where our Spanish-speaking residents can directly go and find emergency information in Spanish for them. It is a mirror site of the English version, but it's also, we know that it's easier, for people who are monolingual Spanish speakers to type socoemergencia than to try to type a word in English to try to find the information. And we, of course, keep promoting the use of 211 because we know that there's a technology divide in there, that some people do not use the internet as much as other communities or other generations. So we could push in 211 for them to know that they can always call and get the information and resources they need. We also worked on creating a guideline for county Spanish translators. We know that we're really thankful to our translators, but we do recognize that, they work on different days and that might not create consistency in the information that we're putting out. So we created a guide, an internal glossary, some resources for them to look at, and trying to keep our information consistent, knowing that some county workers' Spanish might be more advanced than others, and some others might not be used to the kind of health translations and the kind of intricacies that they're working with. So we're trying to provide some guidance there for them to really feel more comfortable to get the information out to their community. And we continue to do media response. I've worked with the Press Democrat, Sonoma Index Tribune, Telemundo. I continue to respond to inquiries for interviews or information as it comes in. And so that's really a summary of what we've been working on and will continue to work on as we move on during this disaster to meet the needs for Spanish information dissemination and to work along with our community. We do know that there's a sector of the population who, won't call 211 and won't necessarily visit the website, but we are confident that working with our stakeholders, they might go to their trusted messenger, to that community organization who's been helping them through tough times, and they might be able to get the information. So we want those community-based organizations also to be informed and to have the latest information from us so that they can share it with their community that they work with every day.